Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, October the 30th, one day before the end of the month and Halloween, beginning of our week. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. Our hypotheses are our trade plans. We do create multiple trade plans in order to have a plan in place. We do not try to predict the market. We look at what the normal auction would be in certain scenarios and then wait for the market to show us what it's doing. Then we execute the plan that best suits the market, not try to bend the market to our trade plan. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, please send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the RTH trading session. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So going to Friday's trading day, we had the unequalized all-time high. We are opening up just outside of range, outside of value. Our main hypothesis was a open auction outside of range. It push in to test the value area, take out the naked VPOC, find initiative buyers, and then rotate us up towards that 73 and go sideways and then push up into new all-time highs as a late day probe. That was Hypo 1. Hypo 3 was a open test drive and a push up into new all-time highs and getting up into that measured move up at the 80 and a quarter and above. We kind of got a combination of Hypo 1 and Hypo 3. Hypo 3 didn't get as high as I thought it would get, and Hypo 1 got a little bit higher than anticipated. But the main thing is our over-under line was down here at the 25.58.75, which was the value area low from yesterday. Was not expecting much more below that on Hypo 1 or Hypo 3. And, we had that unadjusted all-time high. This is another great example of the all-time high being put in on Sunday night in the Globex, and the RTH session going up and finally equalizing that all-time high on Friday's trading session. This is a P-shaped profile, so this could be some short covering, although it's at all-time highs. So we do have some singles that we've left behind. If we take a look at the market profile, these are going to give you key levels today. Now we're going to be opening up down here near the one at 72.75. That's going to likely get taken out right on the open. Then we've got the one at 75 and a quarter and one at 68 and a quarter. So, the key for me is going to be the over underline today is going to be 74.75. I'll show you why. But we have three major targets that we left on a P-shaped profile. P-shaped profiles are generally short covering after some downward days. This is kind of like that, although it is at the all-time high. So we had our downward days, and then we had short covering in a P-shaped profile. But it happens at all-time high. So, to me, the key is that we've equalized the high. We could see this 80.75 hold as the interim all-time high and a bigger move back. Once we break below the 55 area. But we do have earnings more this week, and some of them are big names. We've got, let's just take a look at the earnings. Aftermarket today, we've got not a lot of big names, but later in the week we've got Facebook, we got Alibaba. What do we have tomorrow? So we've got Shopify. Oh, that's before the market. We've got MasterCard tomorrow morning, Under Armour, Pfizer. So we've got some big ones, but the big one is going to be Facebook, and I think that's on Wednesday. After the market tomorrow, we've got United States Steel. Some big names, but not real popular, but I think it's Wednesday on the 1st. That's also Fed Day, by the way. For the market, we've got Groupon, Allergen, SodaStream. But after the market, yeah, we've got Facebook and Tesla, QCOM, Oracle, GoPro. That'll be Fitbit. This is going to be the big day, Yelp. And then let's just take a quick look at Thursday. Thursday, we've got Alibaba before the market, Wayfair, Yum Brands. After the market, we've got Apple. So, Wednesday and Thursday are going to be the big news days. And, those are still two of the fangs that are to report. They've been really driving the market. So we could get some continuation to the upside. Hold on one second. Okay, so let's take a look at the news for the day. So we just had core PCE and personal income, personal spending. They are basically, a beat on the most part. In 3 minutes, we've got Dallas Fed, we've got German CPI. 10:30, we've got Dallas Fed this morning, and then 11:30, we've got the 3-month and the 6-month bill auction. But that's pretty much for today. If we move along, to tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8:30, we've got employment benefits, employment wages. We've got GDP coming out of Canada. We've got Red Book at 8:55 Eastern. We've got S&P CSHPI. And then the big one on tomorrow will be CB Consumer Confidence, Chicago PMI. That's the big one. And then we've got Pelot's Bank of Canada governor speaking later on in the afternoon. But it's going to be Wednesday. That's going to be the big day. Wednesday we got ADP, non-farm payroll, employment change, I should say. We've got manufacturing PMI coming out of Canada, construction spending, ISM manufacturing coming out at 10 o'clock, crude oil inventory, but the big thing is going to be at 2 o'clock, we've got the FOMC statement and whether or not they raise rates and interest rate. It is not doesn't look like it's a question and answer press conference on this one, but that's the big one. And then on Thursday, we've got Powell speaking. We've got Governor Carney speaking out of Great Britain. We've got jobless claims. I think that's the big one. And then on Friday, we've got non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, and then we've got employment change coming out of Canada. 10 o'clock, we've got factory orders and services PMI. So between the earnings, which has got some really big names, this is going to be one of the bigger weeks for earnings, and the fact that it's a Fed week and we've got lots of news. So we are expecting to see some expansion in terms of the weekly ranges. Taking a step back and taking a look at macro to micro. Oh, come on. I always like to start my day with a simple candlestick chart. I use a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. I use my toss paper money in order to use the drawing tools because I'm looking for chart patterns, candlestick patterns, etc. But mainly I'm looking at the strength of the trend on each time frame. Where are we in the time frame? Right? Is it good strength and with slope and separation, price paralleling the 9? Or are we coming down and challenge the trend by testing the 9 or breaking below it? Or are we violating the trend and getting a possible trend change with the move below the 20? The monthly, again, it's not likely that we're going to get below the month. We only have 2 days of trading. We've got to start looking at the critical mass on the monthly. So if we're just looking at critical mass now with 2 days left, there's no way that we're going to come down and test the open of the month. Our open of the month is 25.18. And then our 20 period daily ATR is running at 1164. So 1164 with 2 sessions to go. Our critical mass for the month is 2541.25. That's right down below our week low from last week, and right at that key line in the sand down that we shifted down from 43 to 38. This is our 12th month of one time framing up, and it looks like it's going to be November before we even get a possibility of violating this one time frame up on the monthly. Going to the weekly, you can see that we are holding inside this upper channel. Price is paralleling the 9 quite nicely. We don't even challenge the weekly upward trend until we get down to the 25.37. And again, I'm watching that 25.38.50 area. Going to the daily, you can see that we went in on Friday, put in the new all-time high. We are getting some sideways consolidation here, but you can see that we're closing above the 9, even though we've dipped down below it on several of the last 8 days. We're closing above it and holding this trend and paralleling the 9 quite nicely. The trend doesn't get challenged now on the daily till we get down below the 65. Going to the intraday, you can see that on the intraday we had that big push up and then we pulled back, closing this technical gap, but we're still holding above the 971 area is going to be important for us today. If we do get below it, we could come back and test that 68 to 65 area. Going to the 1 hour, you can see that we have broken below the 9 and the 20. We're getting a possibility of a trend change on the 1 hour. On the 30-minute, you can see same thing. We're back below the 9 and the 20. And then on the 15-minute, same thing. And then on the 5-minute, same thing. So on the intraday time frame, we are seeing some weakness. But in the overall scope of things, on the larger time frames, we're nowhere near violating this trend. So if we take a look at the structure of the market, you can see that I've expanded the microcomposite out to include this dip and this trip through value, and then the breakout again up into this prior microcomposite. The VPOC for this area is up here at 67.50. So if we break the 71, I'm targeting the value area, if we break the 71, we're getting below the microcomposite value area high, and I'm targeting the 67 and a quarter. The value area high for the longer time frame is here at 63. This is going to be actually where I'm going to shift the over underline to, because if we come down here to the 63, then break it. Targets are 62, but I'm not thinking that that's going to hold. I think that will come back further and test this 55, 56 area. And anything below that starts me thinking that we're going to get a bigger move down into this thin area down here and come back and do some repair work. Remember that 68 and a quarter is a single as well. So below that 71, you want to be targeting the 68 and a quarter and 67 and a quarter as your two main targets, with the 63 as the possible support area. And below 63, 52, 59, but ultimately coming back in to test that 55, 56, and then that's going to be a key line for us. All right, so take a look at the inventory. The overnight, we opened with a gap down on Friday. From Friday, they immediately found buyers on the open in Globex. They did not close the gap. They left the gap alone. Our close on Friday was 78.50. They got as high as 78 and a quarter, so they left that gap there. And then they started selling off, and inventory is 100% net short overnight for time and volume. So looking for a little bit of rebalancing on the open and a push up towards the 74, 75 area as the key targets above right now in terms of the overnight VPOC and the midpoint. Above the 74, 75, I'm actually going to use the 75 and a quarter because that's the LVN. There's an LVN right here as well at 74, 75. You could use a 74, 75. I was going to until I take a look at this. I want to be above that mid. I want to be above this overnight VPOC, and I want to be above the value area. So the safer one is the 75 and a quarter, and then we've got this LVN right here down here at the 72, but I'm going to be watching that 71. So if we start setting up our levels on our chart, we've got multiple distributions. This was a bit of a trend day. We did not even come back, and once we broke out and went into price discovery, we never came back to test the VWAP. We just sort of trended up on a slow grind, creating a multiple distribution day. So in terms of levels, of course, our overnight high is up at 78 and a quarter. One tick above the naked VPOC. Our low is at 71.75. I'm going to put our over underline at 71. Just did what this, I don't know why I always do that. And then, of course, above that, we've got the 75. What did I say? 75 and a quarter. And then we've got the value area high for the breakout. Our 20 period full session daily ATR is running at 1164. So our Low of the night at 71.75 plus 11.64. Our upside daily ATR is 83.50. And off of the high overnight of 78.25. 66.75. Tick above the open from Friday RTH session. Our overnight Globex VPOC is not likely going to shift. Well, it actually could shift. So we'll have to watch if it shifts down to 73. But right now it's at 74. And that's all the information I really need from the overnight. Other levels to pay attention to, 63. And then our key line in the sand is going to stay there at 55.50. And, everything below that. Don't pay attention to the weekly ATR. I'm just going to move that right out of the way. But the key thing to keep an eye on today, not likely going to come down and test it, but our monthly critical mass is down here at 41.25. And that's why I really think that with the earnings, the combination of the earnings and critical mass, that we're not likely going to get a big pullback, first couple days of this week, and that there's possibility of seeing new all-time highs. We still have this measured move up here at 87, and again, this doesn't mean much because it's the beginning of the week. Whoops. So in terms of trade plans and hypotheses, we do have some repair work above with that single at 75.25. We have one at 72.75 and 68.25. I'm really centering my all my hypotheses, well, my main hypotheses around a consolidation day and basically trading inside of the prior day on Friday. So I'm looking for an open auction in range, in value. I'm looking for a move up towards that 78 area, and somewhere up here, I'm looking for responsive sellers to step in, rotate us down towards that 68.25. And let's put that in there because that's going to be a major target for us. 68.25. This is a single. And that's the target for Hypo 1 down here at 68, possibly a late day probe down to test the 63, maybe even take out the naked VPOC and naked close down here at 61. Hypo 2 is going to be equally weighted because of where we are at, but opposite in terms of a move down first towards that 68, but somewhere between 68 and 61, finding responsive buyers and rotating us back up towards that 78 and probably closing somewhere around the 73 area, because the 2-day microcomposite VPOC, if I draw just a 2-day, the first 2 days when we came up here, the VPOC was 73, and we were trying to hold value up there, it's saying 72, so call it 72. So that's Hypo 2, open auction, in range, a move down towards the 68, possibly even coming down to the 63 to 61, but somewhere down in the lower distribution to find responsive buyers and rotate us up towards that 78, maybe even put in a new all-time high, but coming back and closing somewhere around the 73 area. Hypo 3 is a failure day. a open auction in range, just outside of value, or just inside of value, I should say, and a push up, but failure to take out the naked close. Find sellers, rotate us down into the 68 to 66 area, go sideways, and then fail and push down into the 61, chop down here, and then actually come down and test the 55 area. We've got the range high and the naked VPOC still down here at the uh, 55, 56 area, and coming down to close that gap down there. That's hypo 3. Hypo 4 is an inside trading day going sideways in the lower distribution, and basically filling in the profile in around this 72 to 67 and a quarter area. And then hypo 5, which is the alternative, is a open auction or an open test drive, failure to take that single out at 68 and a quarter, push up into the 78 to 80 area, chop here, and then get continuation and go hit this measured move up here at the 87 area and close, get another move towards that all-time high at 2600. Who knows? Even possible to see 2600 today as our ranges are starting to expand. The range on Friday was 1750 in the RTH session. Those are my main hypotheses or trade plans for ES. Taking a look at gold. Gold again is just finding balance again around the longer time frame composite VPOC, which goes all the way to 2008, October the 24th, 2008. We're trying to create a base here. The best thing I can say for gold is the level to watch is the 63, 70 area. If we don't, we bounced off of that. We were anticipating that move down to the 63. We bounced. We were looking for the move back up into the 75, 76 area. They haven't quite gotten back up there yet, but we got a pretty tight range, and I'm looking for that move back up to the 75, 76 today, and then just going sideways. But if we fail to get above that 76 and we come down to the 63 and they don't hold, then I'm thinking gold's going to go into a free fall and a move down towards the 50 to 48 area. If we do break above, the key level is above the 84. Anything above the 84 will likely confirm the move and the continuation upward towards the 1300s and into the 1300s again. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side. All right, going to go ahead and close the room down for get the recording and then open up for the members.